FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships in the form of World of Warships website, being a news item, being their Waterline Winter 2023 update. Typically on a Friday, I would be doing a ship highlight Friday feature, but I've been taking the last 5 days off, just not playing World of Warships, and today's 5th day. And I was just going to do an upgrading commander build video with Yu Yang today, but I saw yesterday that this Waterline update went up, so I thought it should be timely that I go ahead and go over it. Go ahead and give you my thoughts and opinions on it and what it might mean for the game, and then also including a little bit of a video feed in the bottom left corner, because I'm going to try. I've been spending some more time. I'm getting more things set up. I have a stream deck that I need to try to set up later today before the stream tomorrow. So if you are around, I'll be streaming on YouTube, part of my birthday live stream, as I am now another year older as of a couple days ago. So the Waterline Winter 2023. Oh, and I didn't even make a disclaimer. I've not watched any other videos on this. If there's any others by WoW's YouTube content creators, I did catch a thumbnail by Flamu. But I was like, no, I want to go through it myself and form my own thoughts and opinions. But is that like, I wonder if that's like staff development team? Because last time they had, wasn't like Bogsy and Ozcons? I don't know how to say his name. Green Captains. In our fresh Waterline episode, we take a look at the new features that have been released since the previous episode, cover the changes that have occurred in our team, okay, and share our development plans for Warships in the first half of 2023. Fingers crossed, right? What's already been done, winter 2023 and spring 2023. So they have 3 sections essentially. So I'm going to go through, I'll break down my thoughts on each of the items, and then at the end, I guess I'll probably just give a summary. Okay, disclaimer that all information is preliminary. Any changes and new features that we announce may change several times during tests. During each of those testing rounds, we'll carefully consider your feedback and opinions. Sure you will. Now let's get down to the details. To reveal the information, click on the respective blocks. Okay, so American and German submarines and tech tree, Japanese light cruisers, super ships, Halloween, Vleos, battle pass, and graphics updates. American, German submarines and a tech tree. Yes, submarines are here to stay at this point. Wanting them to be part of their typical battle type, no separate battle type or anything for these guys. I would say from the very beginning of the submarine testing, the submarines are better than where they are now, but I'm still not pleased with shotgunning in the game, even though Wargaming says it happens very little now. It happens a lot, quite frankly, still, for the players that are 1 and 2. About maybe half or a third of the players are 1 and 2, they'll do it. Because some players who are playing these submarines, I can just tell they're inexperienced, they have no idea what they're doing. You have the tragedy of the Japanese light cruisers. I've been playing through the low tier ones. Yeah, I think both of these suck. So I've not seen good things about Shimanto, mixed about Takahashi, and mixed about Yodo. Super ships, tier 11 in other words, or tier 12, or some of them tier 13 for that matter. Yes, you've done those things. You had the Halloween updates, Operation Saving Transylvania, Sunray in the Darkness was brought back, as well as the Twilight Battle. Vleos Adventure Battle Pass. I think the first Battle Pass was probably the best one so far, because you actually got a premium ship out of it, where the last one was 25, I think, the Christmas certificates. So then that would mean you'd get 5 Mega Santa containers, but I wasn't going to waste my doubloons for that. And then this last Battle Pass doesn't seem so hot either. I haven't checked if they've launched the new update yet. Graphics update. Yes, your graphics are always looking better. I mean, I'll say, I'll just say this now because we haven't gotten to the future of the game yet. When Warhammer Gaming does good things, I'm happy to applaud them. I mean, graphics, it's been a good thing. I love how realistic the game looks, even though historically realistic accuracy is... the graphics department, which we always called the art team, but it's technically not that. It's called 2 different things. There's a really good job. Battle Pass, it's another way for them to make more income. They're a game company. They need to make income in order to survive. New Year celebrations. Battle performance bonuses were available. I did like how they did the snowflakes this time around. So you could play a couple ships and then you get those Christmas bonuses you can use on the other ships. And so you don't have to play through, like, for me, all 200 plus ships. And, there's other players in the game that have, 300-400 plus ships. Construction of Admiral Schroeder and Renowned 44. Among available rewards like camouflages that do absolutely nothing for your ship now. Sell. And Care of the Clash. Okay, well, I know when you're looking at it from a surface perspective, it doesn't look too bad, but I need to play the Japanese light cruisers to get more of my head around them. Winter 2023, U.S. hybrid battleships, British submarines, airship escort, otherwise dirigible derby, Lunar New Year, introduction of new upgrades, new aircraft carrier branches, changes to domination mode settings, global combat missions, in-game sound updates. So they have introduced the U.S. hybrid battleships in Nebraska, Delaware, and Louisiana. Not that more players have been asking for more planes in the game, because it's increasingly becoming more like World of Warplanes, which is nobody plays except 3 people. So I don't know why they keep shoving these different ship classes down our game. Probably because they're running out of ideas. I don't know. I have seen these guys wreck destroyers. Like, they have very tight HE dive bombing groups. And so yeah, you have to be careful even if you're a destroyer. Even if you're broadside to these dive strike, the group's so tight. So let's see if that changes. Next branch to complement the tech tree in World of Warships will be the British submarine branch. Undyne, Sturdy, and Thrasher are set to make their grand but stealthy entrance. Only one type of torpedoes is available on the new submarines: acoustic homing torpedoes. Okay, so they don't have the ones that don't home but hit harder. These torpedoes have a large count per salvo and reload quickly but deal low damage. The Undine and the Sturdy are armed with a 76mm secondary gun, and Thrasher is armed with a 102mm main gun that can be controlled. Okay, so it's kind of like, was it the I-56, the Japanese, was that tier 8 premium sub that has a secondary gun, gun you can control that fires every 1.5 seconds. So I'll be interested to see what the reload time is on these guns. Probably pretty short. Like I can't imagine them doing anything more than 4 seconds, like probably 3 seconds or less. Oh, they're gonna be sap shells. Oh, that's interesting. Would that work better for destroyers? Well, I hope this encourages submarine players to be more on the surface so I can kill them. That would be nice. The British submarines enjoy a high dive capacity, but their maneuverability is low. They'll be able to stay underwater for a long time. However, it would be difficult for them to quickly change direction or retreat if spotted. You should be especially careful when attacking enemy ships because the health pools of the hit point pools of the new submarines are small even compared to submarines of other nations. Okay, they're trying to change it, make it not like the American and German subs. Airship Escort, previously known as Dirigible Derby, is back. It's a very good battle type. This is something that I think Wargaming has done very well on. To have a battle type that encourages players to be aggressive. Not that all players do this, but it's much more brawling action. If you're actually going to win the game and win the match, then it requires players to push in, to escort their airship or try to stop the enemy airship. This has been very good in the game. The one thing that I do not like, which is stated down here, it's no secret that we regularly test new mechanics and temporary modes with an eye on introduction into the game on a permanent basis. And this is also the case for Airship Escort. If the updated mode performs well this year, Airship Escort will most likely be a prime candidate to be introduced into random battles in the future. Now, I think this is a total misplay by Wargaming. I think that this should be its own battle type. So you can play your randoms with, you have domination, standard battle, arms race, which was its own battle type that they now have forced into random battles. Because I think players, at least for the players that I know and speak of, including myself, it's nice to have a separate game mode that you can intentionally step in knowing that you're going to brawl. And then it's because you get that brawling action, like you want that, where you're not going to get it as much in random battles. So to be able to have that in its own separate battle type in Airship Escort, I think is fantastic. So I really wish that they would keep it its own separate battle type. But at this point, they look pretty set on introducing it into random battles. They've said this the last several news items they've had when they talk about Airship Escort. They keep telling us that they're looking to introduce it into random battles, so I'm pretty sure that decision has probably already been made, even though if I'd want it to be its separate battle type. Voice is going down. Lunar New Year. The Age of Soshinbing, with a new unique commander, which I'm still working on attaining through the containers. I think that's cool. I think that's cool that they introduced a new unique commander for the Pan-Asian line. We've already announced in the development blog we're commencing testing of new unique upgrades for tier 10 ships. 2 upgrades for Venezia and Holland have already been released for closed testing. Some of you have been wanting me to do a video going through all the unique upgrades in the research bureau for ships. I will, but I'm going to wait for them to finalize the changes they're doing for current tier 10 ships. I think there's like 8 or 10 ships they're changing the unique upgrades on, like Minotaur. I think the smokescreen action time goes 150% to plus 300%. And then they have here for Venezia and Holland. So I'm going to wait for them to put these all in, and then I'll do that video. New aircraft carrier branches. Okay. Former carriers from uneven tiers that were removed from the game. Oh, no. Former carriers from uneven tiers that were removed from the game during rework of carrier gameplay and update 8.0 will be reintroduced later. No. We previously announced that we were going to elaborate their concept and plan to focus on their interaction with allies. What do they call these? Like the support carriers or something that they're talking a while ago, and then introduced them, community hated them, and then they went quiet on them. However, based on the testing results and feedback analysis, we soon understood that new carrier branches should be able to deal some damage directly, even though it isn't their primary task in battle. Okay, tell the player base, tell the carrier players who are going to be playing these, I think what they call them, escort carriers. Tell these aircraft carrier players that play these to not play them as the primary task being to deal damage to enemy ships, because they'll do that even though they're more developed around team play. I'm just going to call it now as is. We mean that they will still be the carriers you're already familiar with, but with new mechanics that are more focused, among other things, on closer cooperation within the teams. Okay, team play is already something that is not encouraged in random battles, because most players in the game will play selfishly. Like I try to drop smoke screens for my allies, and then they would like cruisers or maybe even battleships, like if their health pool is getting low, and then they just like sail right on through it, and I just wasted a smoke for my teammate. So now when if I do something like that, I ask in chat, hey, do you want a smoke screen? And if they don't respond, I don't give it to them. But I don't know. We'll have to see. A wise carrier player will take full advantage of this, and actually, who knows and understands the game, I think we'll do a very good job in trying to help in the team play. But I think majority of CV players don't see it. We're currently working out the mechanics of minefields. Minefields that can be deployed by aircraft for these carriers. Besides that, we still intend to provide the carrier squadrons with smoke generator to give them the ability. Besides that, we still intend to provide the carrier squadrons. Okay, squadrons, not the carrier itself. I'm like, what? The smoke generator to give them the ability to conceal allied ships from the enemy. Oh my. Mechanics of minefields. Okay, 2022. They had the commander rework, right? That happened like right at the beginning of last year. And they introduced Deadeye. And then submarines, more carriers, all these things. And the question became, why would you ever push in World of Warships 2022? I think I said that too many times, but 2022. In World of Warships 2023 with minefields, why would you ever push? I wonder if they'll have something. Working out the mechanics of minefields. Will you be able to know as the surface ship player that they're there? Is there going to be another consumable stacked onto enemy destroyers that have to now, instead of all the other things that were on their list beforehand, and now destroyer players have to deal with submarines and airstrikes as well. Now they have to find and deal with minefields. Can they even deal with minefields? Oh, that's... And if you're wondering, chill, Flimsy. They're just talking. They're talking about doing this. We don't even know what it finalized looks like yet. Yes, but I know Wargaming's history. I know Wargaming's history, and they implement new things into the game very poorly. How many? Okay, I take this now. Mark my word. How many bugs will they introduce into the game when they implement minefields into the game? Like, it'll be some random mechanic they'll bust when they introduce minefields into the game. And then you come back to this video. I'm calling it now. If they don't introduce any bugs when they put minefields in the game, good for you, Wargaming. But I would put $100 down that they're going to introduce at least one bug when they implement minefields into the game. But to be deployed by aircraft carriers. So then the aircraft carrier, yes, this is emphasizing that their primary task, drop minefields against enemy ships. So it's like passive damage. It's not like you're actively damaging the ship. Like, it's not dive bombing, rockets, torpedoes. And then smoke screens, which the smoke screens that is a historical thing that did happen, but in World War II, but it wasn't utilized very often at all. So we'll see. Changes to domination mode settings. The blog has announced that the reworked domination mode for random battles that will be tested this winter will review the starting points at the beginning of battle, as well as the number of points credited to one team and withdrawn from the other one when a ship is destroyed. These changes are aimed at eliminating extreme situations where the battles are too long or too short. Yeah, like end in 5 minutes in random battles. And it's not because of the points necessarily, it's because of very unbalanced matchmaking. We're going to check them during the super test and public test of update 12.1. If they demonstrate good results, the changes will be implemented on the live server with a low probability of being in place for battles so that we can make a decision on the final fate of the domination mode. Okay, I think so. I mean, I don't think it actually addresses the problem. But I mean, yeah, like I've been playing games and it just cuts off super short. That's more my issue. Battles that are too long. I don't mind battles that go long. I think that's fine. And then you're going to get capped out at 20 minutes anyhow, right? If you're trying to hunt down that one last player, then yeah, that's annoying, but that doesn't happen too often because usually the games are 15 minutes or less, typically somewhere 13 minutes maybe for random battles that I've played. So I'm more concerned with them, they're being too short. So, okay, we'll see what happens. Global combat missions. We're working on a new activity, global combat missions. More ways to keep players grinding, more missional objectives, the unending grind. But more content for players who maybe are bored and want something new. Global combat missions are missions with special conditions that require the joint effort of the entire server to be completed. So whichever server has more players, because now this is only going to be between the Russians, not the Russian server. They're excluded now. The Asian server, the European server, and the North American server. They're completed like typical combat missions, but will be common for all players on the server, and every participant will make their contribution to the overall progress. If players manage to complete a global combat mission on time, each player who has actively involved will receive a reward. Global combat missions are going to be introduced into the game as soon as the beginning of 2023. Okay, so like very soon, like maybe the next update or something, or update 12.2. Because 12.1 is yet to happen yet. In-game sound update, a major overhaul of sound component of the game is planned in 2023. Improvements will be implemented throughout the entire year. For now, we'd like to share the plans for the first half of 2023. We're working on new interactive music for submarines that corresponds to the special gameplay of this ship type. Okay. Sounds of aircraft and flying shells will be updated. They'll be more detailed and of a higher quality. Sound effects for remote events will be improved. Shots and explosions that occur far from the player will sound more realistic. Okay, not that I feel like that needs attention, but yeah. Spring 2023, Pan American cruisers, European destroyers. I'm kind of excited for this one because there's going to be a Norwegian destroyer or two, I think, implemented into the game. Spanish cruisers, new super ships, repeated battle entry with the same ship. Okay, I see what that is. Hybrid destroyer. I mean, if we're being realistic, it's only a matter of time. They're going to be hybrid submarines too, by the way. Wargaming hasn't announced it, but we know they're coming. The new dockyard and a new map. It looks like a new map. I'm not familiar with that name. Okay, let's get into this one. Pan American cruisers, because you had no idea what you're doing with them. Commences in update 12.0. Yeah. 10 new ships will be added to the game. Wait. 12.0, okay. I'm not even trying to pronounce these names. From tier 6, the new ships will have access to combat instructions. Wasn't that normally tied to the super ships and 1 or 2 tier 10 ships? For fire adjustment, Pan American cruisers need to hit their target with their main guns a certain number of times so that they can activate their magic pixie dust. The activation of combat missions instructions significantly reduces the ship's consumable cooldown time. Pixie dust. European destroyers. A second branch of European destroyers was announced in the previous Waterline episode and development blog. The ships of the new branch will represent such countries as Turkey, Norway, Poland, Yugoslavia, and Greece. 6 ships will be added to the game. Muvane, Stord, Gorm, Split, Lambros, Castonis, and Gdansk. Please note that the branch is still under development and its concept may change during testing. That's planned for the first half of 2023. Okay, so spring. In their current concept, the new ships are artillery destroyers equipped with smoke generator. At tier 8 through 10, they also have access to surveillance radar. Okay, so it's like more Smolensk miniature ships. Besides that, all the ships of the branch have engine boosts. Their main guns can inflict good damage per salvo, and starting from tier 7, the ships can enjoy flat trajectory ballistics. Okay, enabling them to easily shoot accurately at long ranges. So then it's not like more like the American destroyers that can have this arc as an example to shoot over islands. Torpedoes of all ships of the branch are fast, but their number per salvo is small. Okay, again, it's kind of with the European branch we already have. Destroyers already sound similar. Compared to the first branch of European destroyers, they inflict higher damage, but they have a shorter range. Because isn't Holland's like 15-kilometer torpedoes? I think. The modes for launching torpedoes are as standard, wide, and narrow spreads. Wait, so you get to do 3? Standard, wide, and narrow. Okay. Starting from tier 7, the new ships are fast, and from tier 8, they enjoy large health pools. However, their AA defenses are not the strongest, and their concealment is mediocre. Okay. So not like the good AA that you get like with the Ulster-Rutlands and Holland. Okay. Spanish cruisers. This spring, Spanish cruisers branch will be released for closed testing. It'll be the first full-fledged Spanish branch in the game, and then that will probably mean battleships and cruisers will be on the way. Aircraft carriers. Still too early to speak about specific concept or specific characteristics, but their primary feature will be their ability to fire a series of salvos, and the caliber of their guns will increase from 120mm at low tiers to 254mm at tier 10. No. New super ships. 2 new super ships. Novosibirsk and Devastation will be put to the test in the spring. They continue the branches of Petropavlovsk and Conqueror. So we get a... Okay, honestly, yeah. I guess we kind of knew it was only a matter of time before they put a super ship version of Petropavlovsk. Can you imagine? Yeah, and Conqueror. Yeah, because some people were talking about, and I agreed with them, that there'd be a new super ship for the British battleship line because, like, Lion, Monarch are kind of to play. So they gave them a very slight buff. I think their Sigma went up by like 0.05 in reload time, I think it was. So then people were thinking, yeah, they're getting ready to introduce a new super ship, Conqueror. Devastation. Man. I can't imagine a tier 11 Petropavlovsk. I mean, Petropavlovsk is already tier 11. But a tier 12, tier 13 Petropavlovsk? A hybrid destroyer. Hal Ford, one of the Fletcher-class destroyers, will be released for closed testing. Her primary feature is the availability of an aircraft catapult. She will be the first hybrid destroyer in our game. And the community was begging for this. They were sending in email requests to Wargaming. They were filling up the World of Warship forums, wanting Wargaming to introduce hybrid destroyers and some sort of separate reality that it doesn't exist in our own. I have so many questions with this because the hybrid ships we have now, there are a portion of the player base, and I may be speaking of you, where hybrid cruisers and battleship players sit in the back of the map in their Kearsarge or their Nebraska. I've already been seeing it, and they only use their aircraft, and they don't even bother with their main battery guns. Is this the same thing that's going to happen with that hybrid destroyer, where now you don't have your team gets 2 hybrid destroyers, the enemy team doesn't get any hybrid destroyers, your 2 hybrid destroyers are sitting towards the back, they're not even sitting close to capture points, and they're just sitting there spamming their planes, while the other 4 destroyers that are not hybrid destroyers overwhelm flanks, overwhelm the key objectives, causing cruisers and battleship players to fall back because they don't have any spotting, they don't have any destroyers on their flank because your 2 hybrid destroyers are sitting in the back, spamming the plane key consumable, which I'm guessing is what this is going to be. And then a catapult fighter. No, just aircraft catapults. So is this one plane? Now they had some ships in, actually I think even in World War One, and World War II. I don't think they called them destroyers. At least the one I'm remembering from World War One. It was I don't remember what battle it was. It was the largest one. It's not the Battle of Jutland, right? Maybe it's the Battle of Jutland, where the British had a ship that was similar to a destroyer that launched an aircraft that was for spotting, not for fighting. And then if you only get one plane, 2 is pushing it for a destroyer. I mean, destroyers are small. Catapults. We have 2 catapults. Yeah, they're probably going to give him 2 aircraft. And then somehow, miraculously, those 2 aircraft can fly through the flak of 4 enemy ships and still both drop their bombs. Because Wargaming has to give them, like, stack RNG in their favor or give them this robust health pool, like FDR planes or something. I don't know, so they don't actually go down. Because it's Fletcher class, so it's going to be, it's American destroyer. Should be. The beginning of the end, folks. The beginning of the end. West Virginia 44. That's only taken 2 years? Well, not a full 2 years. Over a year and a half. We promised to release West Virginia 44 in 2023. We're now ready to confirm that the ship will be released for close testing this spring. Did they actually say it was going to be in 2023? This is the... Lately, a lot of you have been upset with various incidents and our decisions, as well as the general state of things in the game and the community. Really? Yeah, this was following, the Little White Mouse incident and return to Missouri, which was so stupid. I'm trying to see where West Virginia 44 is. I'm just looking for 44. Okay, they did. West Virginia 44 coming in 2023. Okay. I just didn't remember that. Close testing this spring. Let's actually hope that the ship is decent and not like Yukon. Events New Dockyard. Although the construction of Admiral Shoulder is still in progress at the Hamburg Dockyard. I thought it... Oh, they're keeping around now so you can purchase for doubloons, but they've ceased combat missions. We're already preparing the next ship, the Japanese battleship Dyson, to be laid down this spring. Dyson is a fast battleship armed with powerful artillery and torpedoes. She inherited a number of archaic features from projects developed in the 1910s, including the placement of secondary battery guns and casemates. Okay. Battleships are notable for her accurate main battery guns, but number of those guns is small. It's like 6 guns we're talking about. Her armament also includes torpedo launchers with long-range torpedoes that inflict massive damage, which probably can be detected from the moon if it's anything like the Yodo, or Takahashi, or Shimanto. The battleship is very fast, but has a large turning circle radius. Okay. Repeated battle entry with the same ship. We've been working on improvement that will allow players into a new battle with a ship that was just destroyed without having to wait till the previous battle concludes. This way you'll be able to fight more battles playing your favorite ship during a game session. This option should help speed up your game progress on your favorite ships. I think I'm gonna say I disagree with this one, because let's say you're taking your ship and one of your favorite ships in the game, or ship you're grinding, and you go in, you suicide, right? You suicide with your favorite ship. You just need spotted ribbons, or I'm not saying you're purposely suiciding, but you suicided. And you die, and then you go back to port knowing that you're gonna have that same ship, and you go back and just keep repeating doing the same thing over and over. What I like about the fact that you don't get what I hope it would stimulate in the brain is if you die early in a battle and you go back to port and you can't play that ship, maybe it causes you to think, yeah, that wasn't a good decision that I made. I'm not being rewarded for my bad behavior in the sense that I get to play a ship again instantly, but I have to think, oh yeah, that was kind of dumb, and now I gotta play another ship while I wait for that ship to come back, because the battle's already over. Now, if it's like towards the end of the battle and stuff, sure, getting your ship back sooner makes more sense, but I think it helps the mentality, which I try to talk a lot about the game, the mentality for you as a player. If you mess up and make a mistake, you know, if you just keep like, oh, practice, but practice with reflection. When you make a mistake in the game, rather than just simply going to the next thing, like, stop and think about what you did for 10, 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, maybe a minute. Think about what you did or the mistake you made and say, I need to be more mindful of that for next time. And then your win rate starts going up a little bit because you're thinking about the action, the decision you made, and you got punished for it. And then you think about it and reflect on it. What could have I done better? How could have I approached that differently? And your win rate goes up a tiny bit. There's all these decisions you can make in the game that help your win rate, personal rating, all those things improve within the game. That actually makes the game more enjoyable when you understand the game more and you're not making those same mistakes that you were making a couple months ago. So I don't think I agree with this one. April Fool's Day. The first day of April will be highlighted with a special temporary battle type. Is this like we get to... What was the... I missed it. They had... you get to play in a bathtub with like a little tier 1 ship or something. Yeah. Special temporary battle type. The first day of April. We're not really sure details yet, but we can say that while preparing this activity, we drew on inspiration from one of the former temporary battle types that previously featured in the game. I'm cool with that. Yes, put a different battle type in that's funny, hilarious, redonkulous. I'm for it. Skilles map? I'm not going to pronounce this one right, probably. A new map, this one, was released for closed testing in the summer of 2022. While developing it, we were inspired by the real geographical area of the Skilles region. Isn't this like Greece? I'm actually going to use my phone. It sounds something Mediterranean, but I could totally be wrong. East Africa. My apologies. East Africa. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. We've introduced some changes in process of testing to ensure the map balance was optimal and to deliver a high-quality gaming experience, but a clear reference to the real Skilles can still be seen. Yeah, I noticed that with the picture of the map they have. We plan to add the map to the live server this spring. Improvement of the equipment window. Our work on improving user interaction with the interface is ongoing. We plan to improve the equipment window. Recommended upgrades will be added for all ships. Okay. Much like how you have the commander skills that has like this little like triangle in the corner is currently displayed, but we're also going to add a button for mounting a set of recommended upgrades similar to the current available button for mounting recommended signals. Okay. Other improvements, in our previous Waterline episode, we announced changes to notifications and the setting windows that were to be implemented by the end of 2022, but due to unforeseen circumstances, we had to move this plan to the spring of 2023. Let's recall what exactly will be improved. Notifications for players in the port will be updated. A number of improvements will make notifications more structured and informative. The settings menu will be updated. The interface design will become more convenient. Settings will be stored on the server and we'll be able to easily add new settings when necessary thanks to the under the bonnet improvements. Okay. So that's this newest Waterline update. A few good things happening. Some with mixed questioning, like I think the airship escort in the battleship type of random battles, or battle type, sorry. I would rather them be separate. More sound improvements in the game. We have a new European destroyer line coming into the game. Great. Some general improvements into the game. But, okay, so the biggest things that I would say are the downers of this Waterline update. Let me go back up. Make sure, yeah, so that's the past. Yeah, the first downer I would say is the airship escort dirigible derby being implemented in random battles. I really think it should be its own battle type. And I'm fine with the fact that it's inactive during part of the day and then active later in the day when the player count on the server is higher, because I think that's their might be the main concern. But I would rather it be its own separate battle type. So I'm glad that they have this battle type, but I would rather it not be implemented in random battles. I like what random battles already has going. A good thing would be the unique upgrades that they're reworking those and introducing for Venezia and Holland. New aircraft carrier branches. I think that's a very holding my breath. But I'm not seeing these going over very well because I don't understand why the developer, publisher of Wargaming wants to keep implementing more and more aircraft into the game. I just don't understand it because it kills a lot of the strategic gameplay. And the fact that now we have these uneven tiers, like if you had tier 5, tier 7, tier 9 matchmaking, you're guaranteed not to have aircraft carrier player aircraft carriers on your team if you got that straight matchmaking, but now with more hybrid ships, that's becoming increasingly more difficult. So again, I think for myself as a player, it encourages me to play more tier 5 and lower to avoid all this crap. So new aircraft carrier branch, not so great. Changes to domination mode settings. Global combat missions, in-game sound. New super ships. Petropavlovsk tier 12, 13. I mean, we knew it was a matter of time that it was coming. So, but the hybrid destroyer, that rings a very alarming bell for me for what the company is deciding to do with the future of the game. Very alarming bell. So, yeah. So we're just gonna have to see about that. So overall, it's not as bad as I feared, or it could be. I mean, it's not exciting. I mean, there's some good things I'm looking forward to with this Waterline update that I welcome as a player, but I think there's several bad things that I'm just because of Wargaming's track record, their past. Being able to introduce new things into the game usually goes pretty well. They bust things up with their spaghetti coding. Oh, the minefields with the new aircraft carrier branches. That's not a good idea. So we're gonna wrap this video up. So if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. And I hope you appreciated being able to have a little bit more a video of myself while recording and playing this time around and showing you the battle. So until next time, take care.